Let's get right the hell on to 7 minutes in heaven.
All right, guys, you know what 7 Minutes in Heaven is. This is where we really tell you about our favorite scenes of the film. And to be honest with you, when you're talking about a classic, your favorite scenes are going to be biased. So what we tried to really do is narrow this down to what we really thought really stood out in our mind or whatnot. So again, one of the real quick honorable mention we already talked about. He was like, "I have a first class ticket," and she was like, "You have a coach assignment," meaning like, yeah, it's like a. I liken it to just really like you really think that this ticket means that nothing can't go wrong in your life. Oh no, even with rich white people, guys, let me tell you something. There's still a class. So if you're rich white with a whole bunch of money in the bank, there's someone above you who will make you feel like shit. So just to give you a heads up, this is '87. It's 2020. Wake the up. And with that being said, one of the best scenes in the film that I really liked was for me. This motherfucker says. Okay, no. Okay, this is my bigger boat. I still need to say, I don't give a fuck. Okay, no, I got to stick the part because I'm going to use it for the bigger boat, so I'm not going to do it.
All right, I'll take the first one because I have three plus an honorable mention.
Go.
My honorable mention would have to go to when they ride to the. No, I'm gonna make my honorable mention when they ride to the hotel in the burning car. When they come pulling up in the car, it's f***ing smoking, and then you get the skeezy motel clerk like. Would you like a room? And then the way Dell tries to present his Casio
and rubs it across his sleeve.
As I'm laughing at this, my heart is breaking for him. I feel so bad because it goes then like what's in store for him, and it's like I'm gonna have to say goodnight, and he's just sitting out there in the car, just like. And the car is now a convertible, and it's snowing, and he's just sitting there, and snow is collecting on him, and he's talking to who we know now as his dead wife.
Yeah.
And
that guilt was so thick that it crept into Steve Martin's room. It's so against.
And that's the other thing. Like you watch Steve Martin feel for him the way you feel for him, and that's when you identify with Steve Martin. Like, okay, Steve Martin and I are on the same page. He has a lot to put up with, but. Damn it, I feel bad for him.
But go back to John Hughes, though. Attention to detail. They made sure to show you in that hotel room that there were two beds.
Now, I did have... I love the fact that that scene goes from you're cracking up, you're feeling bad, and then you're cracking up again with them together now. Everything's good. This is like the first time that they are making a friendship connection. I do wonder, though, like... They were short on cash. The whole car is burned. Like, where is all of these little liquor bottles coming from?
No, it came with the room. See, I know you're not an alcoholic. I'm a functioning alcoholic. With certain hotel rooms, not the higher ups, but the middle lofts, they all have this thing called a mini bar in your room, a mini fridge.
That you kind of have to. I guess they're not worrying about it being comped on the room because they just wrecked for the.
And let's be clear. If you drink all of those things in there, you're going to need them a lot more than they're going to need you. I'm going to tell you that right now. One of the best scenes for me that really, I only have two to be honest with you, and that's what I'm saying. Out of this entire film, which is so great, I narrowed it down to two personally for me. Number one, the mess around, and dude, this John Candy is the artist that he is. I mean, the camera gravitates towards him. He doesn't gravitate towards the camera. Number one. The person you pissed off for the last 4 or 5 days is sitting next to you, finally getting some sleep. In the seat that you f***ed up because he asked you not to fuck it up. Yeah. He does not smoke. John Candy has been smoking heaters religiously, back to chain smoking. So the dude sleep. John Candy is banging the music so loud. The song's called The Mess Around. Not only is he banging it, he's smoking. Hands not on the wheel. He is playing the piano on the dashboard of the car.
And the saxophone.
And, he went to the sax later. He came back to the sax. And so he's so into it. And clearly, not to mention that he flicks the cigarette out the window, which anybody knows who smoked a blunt, a beady, a cigar. If you flick something out the window, there's a 95% chance if that back window's down, it's coming right. Guys, it's gravity. Bill Nye the Science Guy. Bill. So my point to you, as he's doing that goes into, he's playing these air instruments. I'm like, this is John Candy at his best. I miss this shit in Hollywood. Then after that, what you don't understand is they say you're going the wrong way. That whole sequence of them trying to tell each other, but real quick before I get it, because they all trying to tell them they're going the wrong way. But what really got me on that is that song, "The Mess Around."
Oh, wait. But on that, you're going the wrong way. That's like when he's like, "How do they know where we're going?" And then Steve Martin's like, "Yeah,
how do they know where we're going?"
Thanks.
Yeah, we'll be good.
But then they see them the next day. That couple, the same couple, sees them driving down the road when they're listening to the other song. I can't remember what it is, but they're just singing. Like, now they're happy, and that same couple they were trying to tell them they're going the wrong way. They see them driving down the road just happy-go-lucky, singing in the burning car. That couple's got to be like, they either got to be like, man, f*** them assholes, or I wish I was them, because they are obviously living their best life.
Nothing in life can take away from them. One small reference to that scene, though, like I say, classical scene, was the song "The Mess Around." Done, number one, it was featured in the Blues Brothers with Ray Charles and John Candy. I'm going to give you one more depth so we can rest in peace these people and show them respect. Those were 3 deaths of classic icons that we talked about. We started out with "The Mess Around," and we said John Candy's died. Mm-hmm. Ray Charles died. He did that with him in the Blues Brothers, and of course, Rip Belushi.
Nice.
Hey, I am nice.
So I already know what your number 1 is, no, so I'll get my yes, I do.
I bet you don't.
Oh, okay.
Because I thought I don't have that.
So you only have one other one, and it's not that one?
It's not that one.
Holy shit. Okay, so I'll do my
2, and then I'll
then you do your 1, then I'll say.
Well, your number 1 is the official number 1, so you do 1, I do 1, and then you do the 1.
Well, I got 3 more.
All right, so you do 1, I do 1, you do the last 2. I can just go and then you go.
No, let me get this out.
Give me 2.
All right. When most of my other moments are not, even though this is a comedy, most of my other moments are the ones where it transcends comedy into something else. Like when Neil goes off on Del in the motel room the first night.
Tell me about it. Go ahead, please tell me about it.
But he goes off on him, like you're like a chatty Cathy doll. I expect you to have a string on the front of you. And he's like, when you're telling these stories, have a point. It makes this so much more interesting for the person that's listening. But what really made that scene for me is not what Steve Martin is saying, not Steve Martin's performance, but every time it cuts back to John Candy's facial expressions as he's being just torn down by this one person that he wants to try to make a friendship with. And then I don't know how John Candy didn't. I firmly believe if he would have lived longer, we would have seen him in hard dramas like Grammy Award winning, Oscar nominating, whatever.
Well, since you spoke to that, I have to speak to it now because that was my number 1 scene of the film. But you missed the last, but you didn't miss it. You were hitting right on it. Steve Martin Ned was just getting started when he did that. But then after he said you should be a pull dog, string. He does all that. But then he finally says, I could sit in an insurance sales seminar for 5 days straight, and people are going to be like, they're going to ask me, how'd you do it? And I'm going to say, oh, I know Dale Ripple. They're like, oh my,
because I've been with
Dale Ripple. Like to me, it's just like, damn. And like you say, to your point earlier,
you want to hurt me? Go right ahead. I'm an easy target.
No, but before you move on to your point earlier, to what you said, once you see the end of this movie, if you go back and rewatch the movie, it's a whole nother movie now because now you understand everything that is going on with Dale's character, and it makes you feel like, damn, I've been an asshole this entire time. So that's my number 1. So you can go ahead with your other 2. Could you hand me that book over there so it fell out my hand?
That was the that was the moment that. Like that moment is exactly why this movie is so good, because the 2 leads in it are so much more than just comedians. They are hilarious comedians, but they have this ability to take you to this other place emotionally. While you're also they're just great. They're just amazing. Laughing, feeling big emotions. And yeah, John Candy. That I like me. My wife likes me. Like, God, man, hits me.
He knows who he is.
And then the speaking of those moments, my number 2 is the train when Neil reflects and realizes the truth about Del, and then he goes back and the way that Del is sitting there like a lost dog, like nowhere to go. Like, all right, the one, like I have nowhere to go, like literally, and he's like. Why, I don't, when he says I don't have a home. And um, something very interesting about that scene, actually, when that was not planned or even shot, that whole moment with Steve Martin on the train.
They used it from deleted scenes from the not flashbacks, for it was shot for something else, and he was memorizing his lines or going over his lines, and they saw the face he was making, and John made an executive decision, say, "I like that. We're using that."
Yeah. So originally, Dell was going to get on the train with Neil, and they were just going to ride home together, and it was going to be that ending. But at the last minute, John Hughes wanted to give Dell this character development where he has decided, like, all right, I'm gonna let him go. I've run my course here. So there's like that growth in Dell, and then there's the growth in Neil where he's on the train and he's having these moments, these flashbacks where one, the scene is amazing. It's one of the most powerful scenes in the movie. But then when you understand the brilliant editing that went into that, and like the creativity to make that scene come to life, knowing that they didn't shoot that scene, they had to go back into footage. Not even I mean, it was from the
but it wasn't
scene,
meant
but
for
it was
that, though.
just the cameras rolling during that scene.
Which Steve Martin did not know were rolling.
It was all genuine, or he's just sitting there, and that explains why it cuts to these flashbacks, like, because they had to cut out moments from that take of Steve Martin where maybe it didn't work, so they have this moment of him smiling or thinking, and then it cuts to his wife.
But they even play with the hue on it, so you don't realize that the lighting wasn't right and all this other stuff. They have to hue that. They have to do it that way. So I like that. It's very good.
Brilliant editing. All right, so my number one, of course.
Not your number one. The whole world's number one. Yeah. The reason why this movie got a fucking R rating in the United States, everywhere except New Zealand. Talk to me, David.
You're messing with the wrong guy. When he walks in, and I won't do the whole thing, but just you know that
give it to him.
You know that it's about to happen when he's like,
"Look at me.
How can I help you?"
No, I want you to look in that camera, and I know you're not an actor, but if you had an actor real, you look in that camera, and you give it to him.
All right, so he walks into this place, and which, by the way, all of this stuff with Edie McClurg, where she's on the phone, that John Hughes told her just improvise, so she acted like she was on the phone with her sister. And did that whole thing off the cuff. Then she comes up, she's like, she's like, "Can I help you?" "Yes." "How can I help you?" "Well, you could start by wiping that f***ing stupid smile off your rosy f***ing cheeks. Then you can get me a f***ing automobile, a f***ing Buick, a f***ing Datsun, a f***ing Toyota, 4 f***ing wheels and a seat." "Sir, I really don't appreciate the way you're speaking to me." "Well, I really don't appreciate the way your company left me in the middle of f***ing nowhere with f***ing keys to a f***ing car that isn't f***ing there. And I really didn't appreciate to have to walk across a f***ing runway and down a f***ing highway to get back here to have you smile at my f***ing face. I want a f***ing car right f***ing now."
"Can I have your rental agreement?"
"I threw it away."
"Oh dear."
"Oh dear what?"
"You're fucked."
And then he goes out to the outside, and you think the scene's over. No, they're not done yet. He goes out, and that guy starts out so happy-go-lucky, like a nice St. Louis Midwesterner. He's like, you can catch a plane, you get there a lot faster.
Was that a joke?
Neil goes, "If I wanted to hear a joke, I'd follow you into John and watch you take a leak." Pop! Pop the blink, fall down. John Candy almost smacks him, like, the whole scene is just amazing, all the way up into the nut.
Not to mention, like, "Hey, help your friend up. You want me to help your friend up?" He goes for literally a crotch shot. He pulls the f***er up by his crotch. It's fucking insane.
So yeah, seven minutes in heaven, man.
I will say this: once at the end of the season, guys, we're going to be ranking all our number ones from all the films, and I'm going to tell you right now, that's already running for the top 3 best scenes of all the films we've done all time. So, guys, on the movies on the list, I'm sorry, you guys are all right.
Be better. Find us in all these links. It's coming up right now.
Why don't you subscribe? It'll last longer.